Welcome in to the Joe Cali Show. A little bit of a breaking news episode here. The Buffalo Bills have kind of done the unthinkable. Not many foresaw what has happened at this point. They have fired their head coach. They've fired Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott is no longer the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And I don't exactly know how to feel. It's kind of, being in Buffalo, everyone around here, kind of a shock to anybody involved in the media, anybody just a fan, anybody in the national media too seems to be pretty confused about the move. Just because it so seemed like if anybody was going to go, it should have been Brandon Beane. The receiver lash out that occurred on WGR 550 here in Buffalo, the local sports radio station. The Jamarcus Ingram thing where he claimed Darius Slay, and then that didn't end up working out. A 2026 pick was too rich for Jalen Waddle, who could have arguably changed the outcome of their divisional round matchup. Too rich for their blood. So I don't know. McDermott really, I think, might have had one of his better seasons. I think he had his best season as the Bills head coach. And someone I work with, my friend Lucas, the analogy that he made is you put a plate of scraps in front of a Michelin star chef and he made a meal with it. And then you fired him because you didn't like it because it was made of scraps. Like, I just don't know. They end up with a 12-win season. McDermott is it's not as successful as the Marv Levy era, don't get me wrong, just numbers-wise, but in Super Bowl appearance-wise, it's just this definitely was not the move, I don't think. I think this might be a mistake. The man who should have been fired was had general manager Brandon Beane. But you know what? In fact, he gets a promotion. Job well done. He gets a promotion to president of football operations, and it sounds like it's his show from the presser that was released by the Pagulas. We'll get to that in a few minutes to read through that, including the funny little typo in the beginning. But it's a shame. I think this is a knee-jerk reaction to the Patriots all of a sudden being good again. And you took the one constant about you getting to the playoffs, the culture that the team had built around it, and you yanked it away in Sean McDermott. When, I don't know, I know people hate him. I know people do around here. Some people, they nitpick every little thing. McClappy, all of that crap. They talk about him that way. To me, he oversaw probably the second most successful stint of Buffalo Bills history. He's made 8 playoff appearances in, his 9 years of coaching. There was 1 year, Josh Allen's rookie year, that it didn't happen. What more, I guess a Super Bowl, right, is what more you can ask. But is that not putting immense pressure on whoever they may bring in? Because if they don't reach a Super Bowl in year one, it's a failure. Why would you have moved on from McDermott if you're just going to get the same result? I don't know. It's just getting the news all of a sudden. I don't exactly still have my head wrapped around it. He's been the constant of this organization, the figurehead of it all, right? I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. And I am not really happy about the decision at all. You would have thought Terry Pagula would have seen the Sabres and look at the GM change there and look at what it was able to do. It did a lot. It changed the vibes, and everybody has played up to it with the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Bills, they went the complete opposite direction and fired the coach. The coach that's gotten you to the playoffs, the coach that's developed a lot of these players and able to string together a defense that's less than spectacular and get you a 12 or 13-win season out of it. And he's distanced himself so far from the Brandon Beane conversation this year after the wide receiver thing. And it feels like he wasn't happy with the roster he was dealt. And he made it known. There were multiple press conferences, where he's dropping nuggets left and right. And it's a shame. You think back to some certain examples. Brandon Beane was asked, is this a championship roster? He says yes, he believes it was. Sean McDermott, his response to the same exact question. I love these players. I love the guys in the locker room. There's clearly a disconnect. And so many other examples. Whether that be my frustrations or your frustrations coming from McDermott with the offensive struggles in the passing game, right? Any of that. He's voiced his frustration, whether it be veiled or not, with the front office, with the offense, with everything this year. It is an interesting situation to find yourself in as a Buffalo Bills fan. What do they have a direction they're currently going in right now? No, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. There's so many reports left and right who they're ending up with. What are they doing? I don't know. Brian Dable, Clint Kubiak. Rex Ryan's throwing around Bill Belichick. Like, that can't happen. You need, and I just worry the grass isn't always greener on the other side. That's what I worry about. The grass is not always greener. And if that doesn't come to fruition, if they make all this whole thing, it's now Brandon Beane's show. This is do or die for him, unfortunately now. Or maybe fortunately, however you feel. This is do or die. If they don't advance further, and further is the Super Bowl at this point. You've made multiple AFC championships with McDermott now. Further is the Super Bowl. If you do not breach the Super Bowl, it's a failure. This move did not have to happen. Because then it's another year of Josh Allen, and you tried out a new coach. The system they're used to isn't there. The culture they're used to is getting swapped around. You're doing a lot of moving around. It's a little nerve-wracking for me. And like I said, the grass isn't always greener. The guy who comes in might not be what you think. Having said that, there are some names that are now interesting. But before we dive into all of that, I did want to take a look here at the Buffalo Bills statement they put out for Sean McDermott, because I gotta read into this a little bit. It doesn't seem like the warmest, right? Brandon Beane wrote this. I mean, we've heard about, and like I mentioned in the press conferences, they didn't seem to be on the same page this year, right? If this is something from Brandon Beane or Terry Pagula, something fell apart. I genuinely don't know what it is, and it's not the biggest thank you for breaking the playoff drought. Thank you for 9 great years of winning seasons. Like, it's not that. It says, quote, Sean has done an admirable job of leading our football team for the past 9 seasons, said owner Terry Pagula. But I feel we are in need of a new structure within our leadership to give this organization the best opportunity to take our team to the next level. We owe that to our players and to Bills Mafia. So your leadership change and new structure isn't the GM who had arguably his worst season, arguably spent a lot of capital, gross domestic product of a small country, on the defense for it not to pan out the way he thought, and completely neglected the receiver room like a bastard child. So he's not the problem. The head coach who's helped put together this roster and just pick up the pieces and put them all together and make something out of it. That's the problem. That's the leadership change. Okay. He goes on, quote, Sean helped change the mindset of the organization and was instrumental in the Bills becoming a perennial playoff team. I respect all of the work, loyalty, and attention to detail he showed for this team and the community. I wish Sean, Jamie, and his family all the best. Continues. Moving forward, Brandon Beane will now serve as the president of football operations and general manager of the Buffalo Bills. We're going to pause there for a second. After one last thing, Brandon will oversee all facets of our football operation, including the oversight of the new coaching staff. So we'll pause there for a second. Okay. I'm just thinking about this for a second. Brandon Beane, I get it. He didn't hire Sean McDermott. McDermott was there before. The year before. What have we seen from Beane that would make Terry so confident to make this move? I don't know. I'm just not. It's not screaming at me. Brandon Beane jumping off the page like, "Hey, yeah, this is the guy to do this." And maybe we just haven't seen it. Maybe this is just an early reaction, and it very well could be. He could. I hope he proves wrong. As a Bills fan, I hope he proves wrong. But his drafting has been not great. He's hit on a few picks, and he gets lucky. Like Allen, we can't hang our hats on anymore. It was 2018. It was your first draft. You can't do that. That's a bright, shining star that provides a lot of light in the room when it's really just a small little closet with an incandescent light bulb that's about to die. About to die. Remove the sun, and that's what that is. The Keon Coleman pick, specifically, how bad that's looked. Trading out. You haven't traded up for a wide receiver. As I said, neglected like a bastard child, the wide receiver room. And that showed this year. Sean McDermott put together a hell of a season. And the offense fumbled and turned the ball over, interceptions, 5 total turnovers. But the head coach is the problem. The head coach is the problem. Not the general manager setting the team up for success and putting the pieces together that are necessary to go win a football game and win a championship. It's laughable. Josh Palmer is the biggest signing. What a joke. And you're stuck with him. He's stuck on the roster. Stuck. It's just Brandon Beane should have been the one to go. I'm sorry. This is not the way anyone saw this playing out. And it might work out. It might, okay? And I hope it does. I'm not out on anything. If they hire Clint Kubiak, if they trade for Kyle Shanahan, anything crazy like that, Brian Daboll comes back, sure. Willing to try anything to spice things up a little bit here. But Sean McDermott, I believe, was scapegoated heavily in this scenario. And we're going to continue with the press release right now. Continues, I have full faith in and have witnessed Brandon's outstanding leadership style and have confidence in his abilities to lead our organization. End quote. At the bottom here, Beane will be leading the search for a new head coach and will be working directly with Pegula and Pete Gwelly, who will now serve as president of business operations during the interview and hiring process. So the Bills are in full head coach search. And Sean McDermott is no more. And I think it's a scapegoated travesty. Took me by such surprise this morning. Shock went down my spine. Shock. I don't know. They better know what they're doing. Brandon Beane better already have a candidate in mind that he's ready to just hammer and figure it out. Because this is a huge, huge decision. And we're not in a Tomlin situation or a Harbaugh situation where it's 18 years or anything like that. It's been 9. Sure, it's been half of it. But there was still, I think, more ceiling if Brandon Beane was able to put together a better roster. He can't escape that. This season, the failures of this season are on the general manager, not the head coach. And I get it. Maybe the decision was made because New England had the quick turnaround and they're already rebuilt, heading to an AFC championship, playing against a backup quarterback and likely to make a Super Bowl appearance. Or just the fact that, we're going to try something different. Change can be good. It can be. It could shake things up. You see it with the Buffalo Sabres. A change came in at general manager. Nothing actually changed on the roster, really. And they've improved. So maybe there is a little bit of a silver lining here, right? Maybe there is. Maybe that could happen. Maybe just a new breath of fresh air will do something. I just think it's the wrong breath of fresh air. And I don't know what you think. You got to let me know. You got to comment down below, like, subscribe, leave a review. Spotify, Apple. You can listen or watch YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. At me on X, Twitter, formerly Twitter. Radio's Joe Cali. I just think I don't know where to go here. This is a lot of pressure on whatever head coach is coming in here because you have Josh Allen. It's the same pressure that was on McDermott, everybody who was criticizing him. And it's all it's condensed into one season because if they moved on from the head coach, this new one's got to come in and change. You got to get better than the divisional round. If they go out in the divisional round again, it's an absolute failure. Absolute failure. And that's when the general manager, I think, would go. I think he's got one more season. They gave him the keys to the car. It's his show now, whether you like it or not, whether you're nervous for it or not, whether you expected it or not. I sure did not expect it. But we're here. We've arrived. Sean McDermott's gone. He's going to go coach another team. Apparently, from his agent, that's what's been circulated. He will go coach again. So you're going to bump into him at some point, probably. Just do it the right way. And I know I'm sitting here telling them to do it the right way. Like, what does this guy know? But this is a lot of pressure and a big, big change. After a tight divisional round game that they had 5 turnovers in, and the defense that McDermott was arguably running with Bobby Babich was able to keep it together and put them in a position to be able to win the game in overtime, and the offense sold out. I don't care about the officiating. I don't. So you can come at McDermott's defense if you want from 13 seconds. It's 5 years ago, man. It's 5 years ago. If anything, you've seen him growing and expanding the ceiling of what this team can achieve. And his legs were cut out from underneath him, I think, unjustly. Because I think the general manager was at fault for the failures of this season. I do. And you can go at Joe Brady all you want to and be like, well, McDermott hired Brady. Brady didn't have a lot of talent to work with. Sometimes you need talent to develop a scheme. Sometimes. That'll help. You had a chance to get it. Too rich for my blood, reportedly, with Jalen Waddle. Again, let me know what you think about the Sean McDermott move. Is this something you're confident in? Do you think it's the needed change? Did you want Brandon Beane to be the change and then bring in a new general manager? I don't know. It's just this is kind of a knee-jerk reaction pod. I didn't really have a ton planned. We're going to definitely get more into this, especially as the coaching search begins for the Bills. But yeah, it's not a great feeling at this point, starting fresh and canning somebody who built a culture there for almost a decade, and it was a winning culture. Took you from the laughingstock of the league with one of the longest playoff droughts in the modern era of the NFL to a championship caliber playoff contender every single year, never out of the conversation. So I wish them the best, and wish Sean McDermott the best as well. I hope he has success in whatever venture comes next, but going to be, unfortunately, away from the Buffalo Bills. For my generation, he ushered the first phase of successful football in. So we'll see what happens. The coaching carousel expands, which is insane because there's already like 10. This is the 10th head coaching change. 10th head coaching job that's opened up. Kevin Stefanski's been hired in Atlanta, so check his name off the list. And, of course, the Giants have their coach in John Harbaugh, so check both their names off the list. A few candidates out there still. The one worrisome one is the Joe Brady thing. And I definitely want to collect some more thoughts and get more into this throughout the week. And we're going to put out another episode later this week of the Joe Cali Show. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is just the reactionary pod. We're going to get things together, especially as the Bills roll into the offseason. The draft comes around. This is a big draft for Brandon Beane with the keys, a big offseason with the new coach, a big offseason for the Bills in general, because it's really do or die for them next season now. If they don't make the Super Bowl with this new head coach, what was this for? What was this for? But that's going to do it for this edition of the Joe Cali Show. Quick knee-jerk reaction here. Let me know what you think. Again, you can listen or watch YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Comment, like, subscribe down below. Let me know what you think. Have a good one, everyone. We'll talk to you later this week.